Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network. My name is Zoe Muro, and as always, I am honored to be your host for Choice, your creative superpower. We're coming to you from Oakland, California, each Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Mountain Time, to explore how you can wield your superpower for your greatest good. You co-creating your life experience. So if you're coming back, it's good to see you here again. And if this is your first time, well, welcome to the show. I hope that you'll go back and check out all of the magnificent shows that we've done. Well, I think they're magnificent. I'm a religious science practitioner with the New Thought Media Network. I'm also a transformational coach. I work with people who are looking to live their lives to the fullest. In today's episode 39, we'll be exploring the relationship between choice and spirituality. Now, looking at choice relative to spirituality is one of those topics that is both exciting and problematic. It's exciting because intuitively, I know that there is an absolute treasure trove to be found here. I mean, we're talking about living our greatest lives, of course. But it's also problematic because spirituality is such a personal thing. So let's see what we can do here. For our purposes today, please allow me to state that religious and spirituality are absolutely not the same thing. But I suspect you already knew that. I just really had to get that out of the way, though, because one of the choices that's available to us is to define spirituality as we see fit. So I have some quotes that I thought might help set the tone. So this one is from Alan Cohen, from In a Deep Breath of Life. It is said that religion is for people who are afraid of hell, and spirituality is for those who have already been there. And from Dr. Wayne Dyer, spirituality is not dogma or rules. It is light and joy, and focuses on the experience of love and inner bliss, radiating those qualities outward. For me, personally, spirituality is what makes life so special. It's the energy, the vitality, the spice, the color, the music, all that makes life lively. My first exposure to spirituality was through religion, specifically through Catholicism. You might say I inherited Catholicism from my parents. It was the religion of their choice, and I was expected to follow suit. So I attended a Catholic grammar school, and I eventually joined a preparatory seminary, since my parents expected me to become a Catholic priest. Okay. My years in the prep seminary taught me a great deal about religions, not just Catholicism. Although I don't think that was actually what they had intended. It wound up opening my eyes to the idea that spirituality was not necessarily the province of one given religion. Now, after I left the prep seminary, deciding not to become a priest, I struggled with the dogma and the exclusiveness of most religions that I studied. But I never gave the feeling that spirit was somehow within me. Now, I want you to understand, folks, whatever religion it is that is part of your life, I am not in any way saying that it is inappropriate, it is wrong. No, I'm simply saying what appealed to me, what resonated for me. Okay. So having this idea that spirit was somehow within me, I continued my search. And I searched literally for decades before I found the metaphysical complex of New Thought. So for me, having found a greater understanding of spirituality than I had when I was growing up, and honestly, through most of my life, I came to understand that spirituality is not something I have to attain, but something I have to remember, something I have to be aware of, something I am blessed to bring to my life experience. Now, for me, this might be different for you, but for me, I choose to see spirituality as being an integral part of life, not just my life, but life itself. So once you've identified for yourself what spirituality is, then the next consideration is how you see it playing out in your life. Are you expressing it? Is it bringing you a greater sense of joy or fulfillment? Do you specifically nurture your connection to your spirituality? Just want to see what's going on over here. Oh, hello, Shay. Good to see you again. Hi, Fiona. Salutations to you as well. Okay, let's see. This is where we are today, by the way, folks, if you've just dropped in. So, how do you specifically nurture your connection to your spirituality? Do you? One of the things I've chosen to do is to recognize that my spirituality is not limited to those times when I'm meditating or explicitly praying, but that every aspect of life is spiritual. That is, it affects my spirit or it is affected by spirit, which means I get to choose when and how I connect to my spirituality, and when and how I have closed myself off from my spirituality. In our earlier explorations on the show of identity, authenticity, integrity, we spoke of the importance of our understanding of our true self. That's capital T true and capital S self. And I can say with absolute confidence that for me, as a proponent of New Thought, that my true self is not steeped in spirituality. It's not dependent on spirituality, but it is actually an example of spirituality, an exemplification of it, an instantiation of spirituality. So for me, the choices that I make in my life are most certainly informed by my spirituality, and most certainly either bring me closer to my true self, my spiritual self, or farther away. Now, I want to be clear on this point. Nothing can actually take away a person's spirituality, their divine nature. But we absolutely can effect a life experience that is closer or farther from our spirituality based on the actions and the reactions that we choose. Two choices I make on a regular basis relating to my spirituality are choosing to seek answers to my questions and choosing to seek more questions. Now, obviously looking for answers for my questions, that makes sense, doesn't it? What is my purpose? How can my existence make a difference to my family, to my community, to the world? How can I bring about a world that works for everyone? But choosing to approach life with a beginner's mind can have a profound impact on one's life experience and living a fulfilling life. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the idea of beginner's mind, let me put this up here. And I'll take we spend months, years, an entire lifetime learning and growing. But when it comes to our spirituality, choosing the approach of beginner's mind allows us to open to possibilities that might very well have eluded us. There's an expression you'll hear in New Thought: I know what I know, or I know that I know. But as far as spirituality and personal growth are concerned, there's a certain danger in believing that we've got it. It's like, yes, I have it all now. So I want to use a diagram to kind of illustrate this. Let me see what we have here. So let's go here. Wow, I just heard that when the graphic's up, you can't hear me. So can you hear me now? That's the big question. I'm hoping that you can. I think it's because I took myself out of the stream. Okay, so let me go over this again. If you are at the beginning of your life, you're at point A. Okay, there we go. Sorry, folks. My apologies. If you are at point A, the beginning of your life, and you look outward, let's say you physically look outward, you can only see so far. I mean, we have limitations. But let's say we're talking about our knowledge, right? If we're at point A, we can only know so much. And we think, as we look outward, that we know quite a bit. But as we move from A outward towards B, notice how things expand. There is a greater reach, there is a greater expanse of things to know. And then moving from B to C, it gets even greater. The point being that as we learn more about ourselves, as we learn more about life, as we learn more about ourselves, there is always so much more out there. And when we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about our divine self, our ability to know our divine self from a human perspective. Most definitely, there is going to be so much more out there than we could imagine. So being able to look at your spirituality from this perspective can become extremely valuable. My apologies for the mix up there, folks. So we get to choose how to see our spirituality. We get to choose to see it as the foundation of our beliefs, but we could also choose to see our beliefs as the basis for our spirituality. Now, I know a number of people who do not believe in any deity, any higher power. Nevertheless, they are absolutely not devoid of spirituality. They sense that there is a connection, for example, among all living beings, so that justice for one is not necessarily justice for all. Their beliefs, their values provide a moral compass by which they live their lives, through which they live more fulfilling lives. On the other hand, I know a number of people who were brought up from childhood with a specific religious system of beliefs, and that is the basis, the foundation of their spirituality. They see certain things as moral and others as immoral, certain things as right or as wrong or as good or as evil. In either of these situations, whether you're talking about someone who is not a believer in any deity, someone who is, someone who's not an adherent of religion, someone who is. In either of these situations, choices are made based on the system of belief, the spiritual foundation upon which they have built their lives. You might know this quote. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Beautiful words, written by men looking to declare their independence and establish a free society. Men who also happen to be slave owners, didn't consider women to have the same rights as men, didn't even consider the common man to have the same rights as white landowners. Choices made based on their beliefs. Here we are, nearly 250 years later, and apparently we're still struggling with the true meaning of freedom, justice, and equality. I was going to apologize for digressing here, but this actually brings me to another choice regarding spirituality. To grow or not to grow? That is the question. If spirituality can be as basic as what makes one feel alive, what brings a sense of accomplishment, can there be more to it? Of course I'm going to say yes. We come into this world with an understanding of, we come into this world without an understanding of who we are, or even what we are. We grow, we learn, we understand where we end and where others begin. We discover our individuality. Having achieved this sense of self to whatever degree we can, we then face a choice point. Excuse me. How and where do we fit into this world? And it's a choice point that we probably will look at a number of times through our lives. We could think of this next level as spirituality, this idea of where and how do I fit into this world, as the beginning of enlightenment. Where a person goes from this point onward is the real expression of what I see as living a spiritual life. Understanding what one's purpose is provides a springboard of choices which can make a huge difference in a person's life experience. If we were to choose to live from a place of ego, we can live a perfectly good life. Focused on ensuring our own success, we might work with others and in exchange providing a benefit for both, but we're basically transactional. I do this and I get that. You do this for me and I do that for you. Moving beyond that point allows us to function not simply from a desire to achieve, to attain, but to share, to be connected, to live more from a place of love and compassion, a place of giving without expecting something in return. We become seekers. We move beyond the what and the how to the why. These are all choices that both flow from our spirituality and conversely broaden our sense of spirituality. It's in understanding the why of our existence that we can find enlightenment. I see a key difference between being unenlightened and being enlightened as how we choose our world focus. When unenlightened, we tend to look inward, being more self-oriented, more concerned with receiving than giving. As we become enlightened, we open our worldview. Excuse me. Whoa, I'm getting there, folks. As we become enlightened, we open our worldview, not only to include others, but to recognize, appreciate, and celebrate our connection to others, the strength and the joy of community. We choose to see our ability to contribute to the beauty and the compassion in the world, to see the beauty and the compassion of the world. We choose to give freely and to receive freely as well, because we can recognize that there's a flow to abundance. We choose to appreciate what we have rather than what we might obtain. We choose to embrace uncertainty rather than fearing it, knowing that we are always guided and guarded by loving spirit. That our next great adventure awaits us. We choose the inclusive us when we reject the exclusionary them, knowing there is only the one. We choose to embrace life everlasting, knowing that this plane of existence is just one step along our everlasting, eternal journey. We choose love over judgment, both for ourselves and for others. So many choices. So many choices that we bring to our spirituality. So many choices that as we expand our understanding of our spirituality, we bring to our life. And that is what I hope you get from this today. I hope you get to understand that no matter where you are on your journey of spirituality, there is more goodness out there. There's more that you can incorporate into your life. There is more that you can bring to this world. Just fantastic and extraordinary to be able to do that. Well, it's about it for today, folks. If there are any ideas that you have regarding choice and spirituality, send them to me. I would love to have you send them. Let me see. Let me bring up this address here. You can send them to zodemuro@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you have to think. And also anything at all that you would like to see as a topic for this show. Oh, that would be wonderful. I'd love to hear that as well. Remember, relating to choice. So choice and anything that you can think of is always a possibility here. So, I want you to know that today there is a plethora of things going on here at the New Thought Media Network. For example, today at 12 noon Pacific time, that's 1 p.m. Mountain time, check out Finding the Joy in the Journey with the effervescent Reverend Gina Calvario-Krupka. And her special guest today, Lisa Medley. And it's 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Meditation with the full moon, inner silence. Anything that you're looking for, prayer, meditation, information, discussion, we've got it all. We've got it, and we've got so much more. But it takes not only time and talent to present this, it takes treasure as well. So I would invite you to go to ntmedia.org/donate. Help us bring this goodness to the largest possible audience as we work to make this a world that works for everyone. I hope to see you again next week. And I hope that this day you allow your spirituality to just absolutely ring radiantly in your life. Namaste. I'll see you all next week. And I might actually even put up the correct video this time. Here we go.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zo DeMuro.